welcome to this week's edition of Random Shit, Random Guy. As always, I'm your host, Phil, and we are back for the 4th of July on the 3rd of July. That's right. It is 4th of July weekend. Happy birthday, America. America 250 going on right now all across the country. But we are here for a morning edition or lunchtime edition of RSRG Entertainment. And the reason being, my internet was awful last night. It was so bad I had to call and have the technician come out and work on it at like 9 o'clock last night because I was like, I'm not doing this again. I kept having problems over and over and over, and finally I was like, fuck this. We're getting this internet fixed tonight. And they came out. They're on call like 24/7, but like it was still early enough that they were like coming out. Dude was like, I'll be there in like 15 minutes. I was like, awesome. Let's get this shit fixed. So I got the internet fixed last night. By the time they left, it was too late to podcast. Well, too late for me to podcast. So I moved it to this morning. And we're going to see how it goes. I've never podcasted in the middle of the day before, but I'm may end up liking this and may end up making it a thing. So it just depends on how you guys respond. So if you like the early podcast, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Should I start early? Should I do it late? Should I mix it up? Just let me know what you guys like, and I'll try and work with you. I can't promise. One of the reasons I was able to do this today is it is the 3rd. I don't go to work till a little later today, so I was able to come out and get this podcast rolling early, but that's not why you're here. But before we get too far in, I need your help. Hit that thumbs up button. That helps this show be found. I also need you guys, if you're not already, to hit subscribe. We have a giveaway going on right now on this page for subscribers. If you are a subscriber, well, if you're watching this and you're not a subscriber, hit subscribe. And then after this video, after we're done, I'll put the link in the comments for you guys to check out the giveaway. We're doing a 1K giveaway. We've hit 1,000 subscribers. That's right, 1,000 subscribers here on this page. Technically, we're at 1,017 subscribers as of this moment right now. So go and, go give the page a like or subscribe and join our giveaway. We're giving away, I'm going to grab it real quick. I should have been more prepared than this, but we're giving away a signed Finn Balor auto and this awesome Takeshita figure. So if you aren't already, subscribe, enter the giveaway, win this free shit. It is for you. I'll plug it again at the end. But yeah, I wanted to thank everybody so far who has subscribed and will continue to subscribe for the page. And like I said, I'm very thankful for that. And I wanted to do the giveaway for you guys and celebrate that. But before I get into the show, I wanted to talk a little bit about a show that is coming up on August the 22nd in Corbin, Kentucky. Trying to do a screen share. There it is. We got the Super Bowl of Wrestling happening in Corbin, Kentucky, and we had 2 big names added to the show. We got Su Yung. Su Yung from TNA will be at Super Bowl of Wrestling in Corbin, Kentucky at the Corbin Arena on August the 22nd. She's being presented by Aftermath Pro and Drifters Bar and Grill. We also have Julian Hall making her AMW return, brought to you by Drifters Bar and Grill. So if you haven't already, get those tickets to the Super Bowl of Wrestling. The reason I push that I need you guys to go ahead and get those tickets to the Super Bowl of Wrestling is the show has announced AMW Appalachian Mountain Wrestling has announced this is a paperless door. What that means is you must buy your tickets prior to coming to the show. Even if you don't already, like say you show up and you're like, oh, I've got to get tickets. You cannot buy them at the door. This is similar to like Comic-Con style where you must buy the tickets online first. My recommendation, if you've never been to the Corbin Arena, you're going to want to get those tickets before you get up the hill. If you've got AT&T, there's a good chance when you get to the top of that hill, you're not even going to have enough service to buy said tickets. So you need to get those tickets early. You can buy those tickets right now on the Appalachian Mountain Wrestling, amwrestling.com, and get your tickets to the show. You want to get them. As of right now, the front row is almost sold out. I'm trying to get it open so I can actually see how much of this is sold out, but they are very fucking close to selling out the front row already. So if you want to sit on the floor, that gives you your VIP package. What that means is you get to get access to all the people that is doing autograph signings. Say you want to meet FTR or the Good Brothers or the Godfather, anybody, you get to jump the line first, being someone who has front row floor tickets in general. So you want to get those now. Tickets are on sale, like I said, on amwrestling.com, and you do not want to miss that. I'm trying to see how many tickets are left for the floor and the front row because it is almost gone. It looks like almost all of the front row is gone as of right now. The second row is starting to go. So you want to get these tickets. Tickets start at $26 and go up from there. That goes from general admission all the way down. The closer you get, the better the seat. So go ahead and, like I said, all floor tickets, gold and silver level, are VIP. So make sure you get those tickets early, because if you don't, you're going to have trouble getting them at the door, because you cannot buy the tickets at the door. You have to get them off the AMW website. So I wanted to stress that you're going to want to get them early, because once you get to the top of the hill, there is not guaranteed that your phone internet is going to work. So make sure you have those tickets up. I recommend going ahead and adding them to your Apple Wallet or screenshotting the picture prior to getting up to the top of the hill. So make sure you do that. And I will have an updated map at the end of the show of the convention. Get those tickets. Like I said, you want to get them early. The reason I say that, and I'm going to stress that again, service at the top of the hill is not great. You want to get your tickets early. And I just got an update from the promoter of the show saying that vendor prices have been lowered for the weekend. So if you want to become a vendor of this show, you need to go to amwrestling.com. I'm going to go ahead and actually get this on the screen right now. This is for vendors. They have an updated map with lower prices. This is going to be the map of the vendor floor as of right now. Like I said, this is coming in right now to me. If you want to meet your stars, you're going to see in these areas of red back here, you're going to have different tables. FTR is going to be at a table. The Godfather, all these guys are going to be back here. These are the updated map. If you want to become a vendor of this show, you need to do it now. And how do you do it, you ask? Go to this link right... Oh, not that one. Take this off the screen. Go to this link right here. So, if you want to become a vendor of this show, right now, the vendor prices have been slashed. Right now is the time. If you want to become a vendor, to do it, and you can do it with this link right here on the screen. Use this QR code. Go to amwrestling.com and get your vendor space. Vendor space is available right now. So go check that out. Like I said, it is coming up quick. August the 22nd is less than 8 weeks away. I'm working on getting some guests from AMW on the show. I'm talking with the president of Appalachian Mountain Wrestling, Kyle Maggard, trying to get him on. Hopefully we can get Juice on and some of the guys. So make sure you check out this website, amwrestling.com. Plug it again a little bit more at the end of the show, but we have some business to get to, so let's talk some wrestling. But like I said, amwrestling.com. I'll throw this graphic up again at the end of the show so you guys can get those booths if you're not already. I recommend, if you're an action figure guy and you got some extra figures and got a tote of figures and you're like, hey, I want to move them, this is a great place to do it. If you are a wrestling figure guy, if you've got stuff like this right here on your shelf and you want to move some stuff, this is a great place to do it. Especially if you are a wrestling guy and you're like, hey man, I've got duplicates of stuff. I'd like to move some stuff. I've got FTR figures. I've got some Godfather figures. This is the place to bring those figures. So get your booth now for Super Bowl of Wrestling. All right. So they have been, like I said, you want to take advantage of that. But we got a lot to talk about. And again, thank you for everyone who has subscribed. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And we will get into this show. Let me get my notes back up. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's get into some AMW news. AEW. Last weekend was Forbidden Door. We have not been on since then. I know it feels like it's been forever since Forbidden Door happened. And it has. But we're just now talking about it. And the reason that I still want to talk about it is the aftermath of Forbidden Door is going to be affecting us all the way to All In. We had the Owen Hart winner. We had the Owen Hart winners, and then a big, what do you want to call that? I think they called it Death's Door cage match. So you had the Death's Door cage match. You had several things that are going to lead us to All In. And some of the things that are leading us to Beach Break next week. So first off, we had match of the night between Swerve Strickland and excuse me, Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. And Will Ospreay wins the men's Owen Hart tournament to be the first person to lock in his spot at All In at Wembley Stadium. This is one that if you had put a gun to my head and said, what is the match that's going to happen at Wembley Stadium? It would be Will Ospreay being crowned the new AEW champion. That is a given. That will happen. That is not a spoiler. That is not a prediction. That's a spoiler. So if you were shocked by that, you shouldn't be. But you had Will Ospreay win the Owen. You also had Mercedes Moné win the Owen. So those are your men's and women's Owen Hart winners. Those both win a title shot. I want to talk about that for a reason, because it's going to lead me on to my WWE talk in a little bit. You had two tournaments ending at the exact same time. You had the Owen Hart tournament and you had the King of the Ring tournament. And I'm going to compare and contrast them, because you had one tournament that had both tournaments are supposed to end in a summer pay-per-view title shot. What I mean by that is you've got for AEW, All In, you get that title shot. It's the biggest show of their year. And for King of the Ring, it gets you a SummerSlam title shot. Or does it? And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But yeah, so the the three big standouts, there was several great matches. You had Kenny Omega versus Zack Sabre Jr. That was fucking amazing. But the match I want to talk about is, well, there's not really a match on that show I want to talk about in particular, but yeah, like I said, that main event was amazing, and Death's Door really was amazing. Death's Door was won by Team Mark Briscoe, or the Conglomeration, to get Mark Briscoe a title shot. And everybody was like, oh, that title shot's going to come in a couple weeks. No. That title shot happened this past Wednesday when Mark Briscoe got defeated by MJF. And that opened the fucking show. That's how big of a deal that was, that Omega comes out and saves Briscoe after MJF starts like over and over and over hitting him with the diamond ring. And that was just, it was one thing after another to get us to where next week on Beach Break, Kenny Omega will be going for the world title on television. And the reason I say it like that is originally the plan was Kenny Omega goes for the title at AEW Redemption on July 26th in Canada. And I thought that was going to be the crowning, or a lot of people thought, hey, it's Canada, Kenny Omega's going to win the title there. But I guess it's going to happen at Beach Break because MJF put in the stipulation that Cody has went through and that Hangman has went through, that if Kenny Omega loses this match, he can no longer go for the AEW Championship. And I just can't see a third time where that works. Like, that'll be the third member of the Elite to be like, I'm not going for a title. I'm not going to be eligible for an AEW title shot again. And that just doesn't seem like something that makes sense. If you're going to have Kenny, like, Kenny's time in the ring is closer to the end than the beginning. He said that. Everybody knows that. But I personally didn't think going in that Kenny Omega would be putting his title shot on the line, or future title shots on the line, if he wasn't going to win the match. The reason being is they've been setting up for a little bit now that Will Ospreay would go against his mentor Kenny Omega for the title. You had Will Ospreay join the Death Riders. Kenny doesn't like that. So it kind of leads us to think that Kenny Omega will be crowned the champion this week on Beach Break. And like I said, this was very fast coming, but part of me wonders if they did it because, if they're doing this because I'm sure they want Beach Break. I'm sure the network wants Beach Break to be a huge show. And the best way to do that is to crown a new world champion. Because this past week they crowned a new TBS champion. I'll talk about that in just a second. The next week and then you had the return of Jay White on the special edition of Return to the Ring, I may say, of Collision last night. So I really think that Kenny Omega is going to be your next AEW champion. The reason I think that is I think they wanted to get that Mark Briscoe match out of the way. That one wasn't needed, but I'm thinking MJF's leg isn't as good as people say it is. He's good enough to work, but I don't think he's good enough to do match after match. He may, I don't know, like, he never comes out wrapped the way he does. The last time he was wrapped from head to toe like that was when he fucked up his shoulder, and then he ended up still having matches and losing the title. So I see Kenny, who's not beaten MJF, finally getting that win on the third time. And this will most likely be his last title shot. And what better way than to give the title over to Kenny Omega, to give Kenny Omega the title, than for him to be the person that passes it to Will Ospreay at All In. Like, I would not be against at all MJF holding that title all the way into August. But is he able to? If he's not, this is a good time to pass it to Kenny. Then Kenny can pass it to Ospreay. Like, I don't care about these long title reigns right now, because the story makes sense that you have it hot potatoing like it is, where MJF just keeps winning it back. But I think once you get that title on Ospreay's going to hold that title at least through the end of the year, possibly into All In next year. Like, I could see them making Will Ospreay being the guy who beats MJF's longest reign as champion. Like, that is something I could see happening. He is the now of that business. He's the best wrestler in the world right now, in my opinion. So it makes sense that you would have someone guy like Will Ospreay carry that title in. But it's kind of shocking to think that Kenny Omega comes back from not winning, gets a couple wins on television, defeats Zack Sabre Jr., who's considered the best technical wrestler in the world, and then now he's going for that title. And the way he's getting the title shot is, I mean, yeah, he's coming off Zack Sabre Jr., but it's like he come out for the save, and he's like, but he's been saying for a while, I want that title one last time. I'm not getting any younger. But like, I really thought they were going to do this at Redemption. That's the one thing I don't understand, is why you moved it up. Like, I understand that you're doing it, but what I don't understand is that you moved it up so early on television. If they don't put that title on him, I'm going to be shocked. But I would be okay with that too. Like I said, if Max is good to go, I'm fine with him carrying the title into All In. But if he's not good to go, let's move it to Omega. Omega gets that moment with Will in Wembley. Everything looks good. Another thing that happened on this week's Dynamite was the Tournament of Survival, Match of Survival. I don't know, the TBS tournament / crowning of a new champion. A couple months ago, or about a month ago, at the start of the Owen Hart tournament, Willow Nightingale was injured. And they had a tournament going on already for the Owen, so they didn't have a tournament for the TBS championship. Cool. Great. I'm not a huge fan of tournament wrestling anyways, so it makes sense to hold off and just not deal with it. Here's my problem with the TBS championship. You pull the title off Willow. Cool, she's injured, whatever. But it looks like the injured Willow Nightingale wasn't as big of a threat as they thought it would be. And the reason being is you announced Willow Nightingale's return to television on the pay-per-view 2 days before you're crowning a new TBS champion. If she's coming back this quick, and you haven't had a TBS champion this entire time, why the fuck couldn't you just hold off another week? Unless if Willow's not ready. And if she's not ready, why the hell are you running promos for her return? And if you're just going to crown a new TBS champion, why couldn't Willow have been in a 3-way and not got pinned, but somebody else gets pinned, she loses the title? If she's good enough to come back from television, she was good enough to hold on to that belt for an extra couple weeks that wasn't on television anyways. It wasn't defended. And she could have dropped the title. That is one of the problems with wrestling today. There are too many goddamn titles in wrestling. AEW has too many titles. WWE has too many titles. Everybody has too many titles. You got so many titles, you're having champions carrying belts into other matches for other championships. Too many belts. And this is a case of too many belts. You want Willow Nightingale to go for the World Championship? She should have dropped the belt before she went into the Owen. If she dropped the belt before she went into the Owen, this would not have been a fucking problem. Willow should have just held on to this belt and then lost it to Shida. You could have had Shida, Stat, and Willow in one match, the three for a three-way, where you get the same finish, where Shida pins Statlander. And that would have been, it would have made so much more sense that way. Would have made a lot more fucking sense if you had, like I said, Shida, she's going to win anyways. You put her in a three-way where you get the pin the same way, same finish, different match. And it makes so much more sense because Willow Nightingale then is the person who drops the fucking title instead of just being like, oh, I vacate the title, but I'm going to be back a week after that title has been already given to somebody else. So it protects you, but it makes you look weak. Like, it makes no sense. And that's one of the things, like, I think they thought she was going to be out longer. And honestly, why fucking rush her back? And I think what's going to happen is they are going to find a way to put the title on Willow at Redemption. That's what I think is going to happen. I think Willow Nightingale is going to become the AEW champion at Redemption, so that it is Mercedes Moné versus Willow instead of Tekla versus Mercedes Moné. And I don't love that idea, but I also don't love the idea that if you're going to have, they clearly wanted Willow to get that moment at Wembley. But the only way to do that is to have her, how can I say this? She either gets her moment at Wembley and fucks over the whole idea of a tournament. That thing I'm not a huge fan of, because that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, why even do that? I don't like the idea of having tournaments and then changing it. I'm going to talk about that again that same point in just a moment, because that drives me nuts. So it's like, if you're going to have Mercedes Moné go through the tournament, it needs to be a singles match, because why the fuck would you have the tournament to be like, oh yeah, this person who was hurt and supposed to be in the tournament is now in the tournament because she doesn't like you two. I don't like that. So either, if you want Willow in this tournament, if you want Willow to have a moment at Wembley, just go ahead and crown her at Redemption. It makes that show a little bit more important. You get a title change, because clearly everybody thought the title change that was going to happen was going to be Omega over MJF. But you can do that same storyline, but do Tekla versus Willow. Willow can win the title, then Willow can beat Mercedes Moné and hold the title if she's healthy enough. She can pass the title to Moné. I don't give a fuck what she does. Just don't make that a three-way match. Either way, like, I'm happy if she wins. I'm happy if Mercedes wins. I don't think Mercedes needs the fucking title. Mercedes wasn't supposed to win the title this way. I think Mercedes was going to be the person who took it off of Willow. And it is good if Mercedes has the title, because Mercedes can be the, if Mercedes has the title, she can be your, I guess, Hogan. I guess is the easiest way of saying it. Like, or not Hogan, but you know what I mean. She's gonna be she's already the face of the women's division because you lost so many stars of the women's division. But Willow has the chance, if you want a homegrown person and you want to make her a bigger star, let her beat Mercedes again. Let Mercedes fucking spiral. Being like, I just can't get the big one. I can't win the big one. And that could be a story that you tell. I just don't want her put into a 3-way match just because she's back. Speaking of AEW Redemption, AEW Redemption has been turned to a earlier start time thanks to Tony Khan listening to the fans. One of the things I cannot stand is being up till 1 o'clock in the morning watching wrestling. Tony Khan has potentially fixed that problem by moving the start time from 8 p.m. to 7 p.m. Now, this is a West Coast show, so that makes it really wouldn't have mattered, but it still sucks for the people at home. So I'm glad that they listened enough to move it back an hour. Here's what I'm worried about. You give him an extra hour, he's going to take an extra hour. I do not want this show to last till 1 o'clock. I wish this show would end at 11 p.m. You start at 7, end at 11. That's plenty of time for a pay-per-view. The problem is AEW likes to run until the cows come home. So hopefully Tony's listening to the fans and moving it up an hour. I wish he would listen a little bit more and just take it off Sunday altogether. I don't understand why he loves doing Sunday pay-per-views. Because once the NFL starts, he's going to move them to Saturdays and everybody's going to be happy. So why can't you just go ahead and do that? So you got, because the next pay-per-view is going to start at like 3 p.m. like after this, because you're going to get Redemption at 7 and then All In's going to be 2 or 3 o'clock because they got to get out of Wembley at a certain time. So I am 100% on board starting these pay-per-views a little bit earlier. My one last AEW news, which bleeds into the WWE. Big Bill is leaving AEW. They announced this week on Fightful Select, Fightful.com, that Big Bill's contract is up and he will be heading back to WWE. Big Bill is a big miss for AEW. I know they just don't like big men at AEW. They just don't. Those big guys never get a good run. They always get turned into somebody's enforcer. But Big Bill has grown so much as a wrestler since leaving the WWE, and now he's going to be returning back to the WWE as Big Cass, but he ain't going back alone. He's going back with Enzo. Enzo Amore and Big Cass are once again going to be returning to the WWE probably around, I wouldn't be shocked if you've seen them before SummerSlam, but you'll definitely see them by SummerSlam. I don't know if they are going to be a tag team, but I would like to see Big Cass get a chance to have a singles run with Enzo as his mouthpiece instead of as a tag team. That in my view would be the best scenario. Introduce him as a tag team and then slowly move Enzo into a manager role, because Enzo is better on the mic than he is in the ring, and Big Bill sucks on the mic, but he's better in the ring, and he keeps getting better, especially now that he's clean and sober. So I would love to see a Big Bill solo run in WWE. Do I think it will happen? I don't know. Triple H his booking sucks. So it's like, will he listen to the fans and give them what they want? I honestly don't know. So we'll see what happens when it comes time for them to use him. But speaking of booking that makes no sense, Night of Champions happened. You had Liv Morgan lose to Io Sky in the Queen of the Ring tournament, which you shouldn't have had Liv Morgan in the tournament at all, because Liv Morgan is a fucking champion. And the only thing I can think of is that they were going to do Liv versus Rhea for all the belts at SummerSlam, and that's why. But with Rhea being injured, they've pivoted. That's the only reason I can figure for having Liv in the tournament at all. Like, that is the only reason I can figure out. But since Rhea's out of the picture, Liv now Aew wins, which I think Aew winning was the best choice no matter what, because she can go after either champion and it makes sense. She has a story with Rhea. She has a story with Liv. But she instantly, after winning the match against Liv, says, I want Liv for the title. And it's like, you just had this match where you won, which means you're not going to win the next one. It just drives me nuts the way Triple H books shit. And then he has Oba Femi win the King of the Ring tournament. I have no problem with that. The problem I have is what happened on Monday Night Raw after Oba Femi won the King of the Ring tournament. The verbiage of the King of the Ring tournament is what fucks the King of the Ring. The reason I say that is the winner of the King of the Ring tournament was to get a title shot at SummerSlam. Here's how you fix that whole problem. The winner of the King of the Ring tournament gets a future title shot in 2026. That's how you fix that. It doesn't have to happen. And they're right. Oba's like, the title's always going to be there. I want Brock. But you want a tournament for a title shot at that show. The guys in the back that write the fucking show knew they were going to do this. All they had to do was, not when it started, say, all right, it comes for a title shot in 2026. If the women want to do it as there, cool. The fans are going to think it's going to take place there. But we said in 2026. We didn't say at SummerSlam. That means Oba, when Brock attacks Oba, and Oba says, I want Brock, and then Brock's like, Hell in a Cell, that can make more fucking sense. But when you do it the way that you've done it, it makes Oba, well, it just hurts it makes the fucking King of the Ring tournament pointless when you do it that way. There was no reason for it to happen if that's what drives me nuts. There's no reason for Oba to win the King of the Ring and throw away a title shot. So that makes the whole tournament moot and pointless, which makes Night of Champions even fucking dumber how it ended. Do I want to see Oba versus Brock in King of the Ring? I mean, not King of the Ring, in Hell in a Cell? Fuck yeah, I do. I think that is a great idea. Should Oba be winning these tournaments? Yes, he should. Make it make sense. Make the story work. You're writing the fucking show. So how do you write the show? Oh, this is what's going to happen. Oh, shit. We put in that stipulation for there, but we need Brock at SummerSlam so that Oba can retire him again. So let's do it that way. All right, cool. Hell in a Cell, make it cooler. Yeah, fuck yeah, let's do that. Oh shit, we had Oba win the tournament for a title shot at this show. Oh, we're gonna say, oh, titles don't matter. If titles don't matter, then why the fuck do you have them? Get rid of the belts if you're not going to push them. Make them important. Make winning tournaments important. And how do you do that? By making them make fucking sense. That's how you make them important. That's how you fix that problem. So I really hope that they fix that. And then on top of that, the big moment that's talked about at Night of Champions. Sami Zayn is finally crowned the WWE World Champion. And I say finally as because this should have happened 2 years ago. A year ago. It should have happened a long time ago. And I get it. They waited and had it happen in Saudi Arabia. Cool, whatever. It was a shock win because a lot of people thought if anybody was going to win, it was Gunther. I said last week I thought that Sami might win that title. I didn't know if Sami would win, and now I'm wondering how long is Sami going to hold on to this title. I originally thought we were going to have Sammy versus somebody at SummerSlam. But now it's looking like it may happen as early as Monday night. Spoilers for tonight. Sami Zayn gets called out by Cody Rhodes, and they are going to be having a match on Monday Night Raw in a small town called Chicago with the return of CM Punk. How do you sell tickets for a big show in SummerSlam? Oh, wait. Minnesota's very I want to say Minneapolis is very close to Chicago. CM Punk comes back. CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes in WWE happens. That's how you sell fucking tickets. So they got to put the title back on Cody so that can happen. So if that, or you're going to make it a three-way. Either way, we will figure out what's happening on SummerSlam on Monday. I really think you're going to have Kenny Omega winning a title the same week Cody Rhodes wins a title. You're going to have two members of the Elite holding both belts in both companies at the same fucking time. That's what I think is going to happen. So that they can set up CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. Could you do that match without the belt? Yes. Is it just as important without the belt? Again, yes. They are two guys who do not have to have the belt. And Cody's title reign has been stale. So how do you fix that? Cody versus Punk without a belt. But WWE is not going to do that. They want the title on one of those two guys. This can be the time that you have Cody beat. You can have Punk beat Cody. And then Punk moves shows. He moves from Monday nights to SmackDown. It gives a new life to SmackDown. Cody moves to I'm thinking of my words as I'm saying them, but then Cody can move to Raw. Everybody gets a refresh. So that's what I think could happen. But because it's in Chicago, it leads me to think that Cody is going to do that. Here's how you fix that problem. You don't put the belt on Sammy. And like I said, I'm excited for Sammy, but I'm not excited for the storyline of Sammy winning the title. That just doesn't make a ton of sense. Make it make sense. You're writing the show. It's kind of like how they announced for SummerSlam on Raw this week that you're going to get Rollins versus Reigns again for the title at SummerSlam. Here's how you fix that problem. You put you put Seth in the fucking King of the Ring tournament and have him win and not Oba. If you have Seth win the King of the Ring, he goes up against Roman, you don't have this problem that you're in now. Think about what you're doing long term and then write backwards. That's how you book this shit. Don't book it as for shock value and all that stuff. That is insane and it drives me insane. But that's Raw. That's that's all that I know is going to happen on SmackDown tonight. It's AEW. Let's talk TNA Slammiversary, and all I want to talk about on that is TNA announced 2 Hall of Fame inductions at this year's Slammiversary. Amazing Red, the original X Division guy, is finally going in to the TNA Hall of Fame. He's one of the TNA originals. Amazing Red took a long break from wrestling, and that kind of, I think, is why he never went into the Hall of Fame. But now that he's back wrestling, I think it's really cool that they're going to put him into the Hall of Fame. I think it would have been even cooler had you put the X Division title on him and then had it walk in. But I know we're getting ready to see, we're going to see how TNA has changed since Tommy Dreamer at that show. That is going to be, we're building to Bound for Glory, and Bound for Glory is going to be the first tale of the future of TNA. And you're going to go ahead and acknowledge the past at that show with Amazing Red going in. You're also going to get one of my favorites as a kid, Conan, entering the Hall of Fame. You can't see him, but I've got a Conan figure right there. That's how big of a fan of Conan in WCW I was. But Conan in TNA was so much more important. He is the reason for so much awesome storylines with what was it? Fuck, I cannot remember what they were called, but it was Pride and Powerful before that, when you had Santana Ortiz and who was the third? Oh, I gotta look that up. Conan group. LAX. You had LAX. It was founding members was Conan and Homicide, and then that helped build the careers of Santana and Ortiz, and then would also go ahead and build the career of Diamante, which that one went through the shitter. Ortiz went through the shitter, but what's cool is before Santana leaves to go to the WWE, he'll get the opportunity, hopefully, to induct. He's the guy who announced Conan going, so I would like to see him be the guy who inducts Conan into the Hall of Fame at TNA. And he can do that even if he's not there, because WWE has that working relationship. I would love to see Conan go into the WWE Hall of Fame sooner rather than later, but we'll see how that works out. I think this is the first step. You put him in the TNA Hall of Fame and the next WWE Hall of Fame, because they may give it a year gap or so, but his health's not getting any better. He just had I think he's double amputee now, so it's like, let's go ahead and get this man in the Hall of Fame. Give him his flowers while he's still with us, and let's not wait until it's too late like WWE has with a lot of people. But that is our show for this week. Once again, I wanted to plug some things. Let's start with, once again, I want to show, make sure you are, that's not the screen I wanted. But yeah, you can get your tickets right now for Appalachian Mountain Wrestling at amwwrestling.com. And when you get to the page, it's going to look like this. You can buy a bunch of shows and stuff. Click that banner at the top. Let's just go to Super Bowl Wrestling and then buy your tickets now. If you are a vendor and want a vendor table, you can also do that here as well. I'll put the link down below, so make sure you do that. Again, let's see, swap that to another one. Stop sharing. Share this one instead. Share screen. Vendor space is still available and has an updated map. It will be the vendor spot for the show. So there's a couple of 10 by 10s left, not very many. You also have some 8-foot tables and 6-foot tables available. If you want to be a vendor to this awesome event, the QR code's on the screen, or go to amwrestling.com and get them. Ticket prices have been slashed for the weekend. Take advantage of this. So, like I said, Appalachian Mountain Wrestling, August the 28th at the Corbin Arena. Check that out. Also, make sure, don't remove me, remove that. Make sure you like, subscribe this page, share it with your friends, and get into our giveaway. Let's see if I can get the video up. Not video up of that, but I'm going to get the... So when you go to our page, I want to show you which video it is. Let's do a screen share. No, remove. Stop sharing that one. Start sharing this one. When you go to the page, it is this video right here. Videos. The 1K giveaway. Enter it there. Hit that button. Like the page. and comment your favorite wrestler. Hell, if you'll like this page and comment your favorite wrestler, I'll add you to it here as well. Let's get as many people as we can in this giveaway for 1K. I am giving away some awesome prizes. You're going to win this right here. I'll stop screen sharing. You can win this 1 of 5,000 Konosuke Takeshita Chase. He is the current international champion in AEW. Or you can win the Demon. Or not, or you're going to win both. You're going to also win this Finn Balor Demon signed poster. This is a 16 by 20. So those are two awesome prizes that you can win for free just by liking this page and subscribing. And I want to thank everybody who has subscribed already. Share this with your friends. Go like us on our socials. We're on Facebook, RSRG Entertainment, and everywhere else we are at RSRG Podcast. We're on TikTok, we're on X, we're on Instagram. We're most active on Instagram, so check us out on all those socials and get a chance to win these awesome prizes. Like I said, I will even allow you guys to enter on this page. If you like this page, you subscribe and comment your favorite wrestler in this video, I will add you to the giveaway. The giveaway will happen on a live stream on July the 11th. That's right, we are less than 10 days away from McGregor versus Holloway, and that will be where the giveaway happens, is right before the main event. We'll talk about this more. Hopefully we have some guests before then, but thank you for everybody who have watched with us and stuck with us. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we will be back next week, hopefully with Kyle Maggard or somebody from AMW, either in an interview by itself or on the podcast. But hopefully we will see you guys next week. Remember, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thanks. Bye.